And when you put your joy in other things in the world, remember, it's only temporary. Where joy in the Lord is for all eternity. Amen? That's why we don't put our happiness and joy in things of the world. Because anything in the world is going to corrupt. It's going to fade away. It's only temporary. Amen? Remember that. Things don't bring us joy. And I hope it never happens to any of us here. But what if a flood came where we lived and we lost everything? Would we still have joy? When we've lost all of our material possessions, can we still have joy in Jesus? Now, I would hope yes. I wouldn't dare to say bold and say, oh Lord, yeah, I'm not going to say that. I don't know what I would do in that situation. I'm only human. I would hope and pray that I would say, well, Lord, you provided me all these years. Obviously, through this disaster, I lost it all. But I still praise you, and I'm still happy in you. I hope I would say that. Okay? And I hope it never happens to any of us. But remember, even if we lose it all, you can't take the joy out of our hearts. Satan can rob us of the world, things of the world, but he cannot rob us of our salvation, and he cannot rob us of our joy. Amen? Amen. He can't. Unless we allow him. Unless we allow him. And if we allow him, then we'll walk in the flesh, and it'll be, oh, poor me, boo-hoo, and oh, woe was me, and look at this, what happened. God, why did you do that? Sometimes I get so frustrated as a pastor when Christian, I really disturbs me. I hear Christians say, why did God do this to me? Whoa, what? If God's provided you salvation, that'll make you happy enough. Don't blame God for the hard times in the world. God has given you the victory to overcome the hard times of the world. Amen? I get so tired of everybody blaming God for everything. It really gets tiring.
I just kind of reflect on the longer that we're Christians, how difficult, we really realize how difficult it is for people to come to Christ. It's very difficult.
Yeah. The older they are, too.
And it I'm just so thankful of what he did, for me.
Amen.
Saving us. It's
Amen.
unbelievable.
Yep.
It's difficult to even mention his name in public these days.
Yeah, it is. It's very hard.
Unless it's a swear word.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
That is socially acceptable.
All right, look at John chapter 16, verse 24 for the next one that brings us joy. John chapter, the source of our joy, John chapter 16 and verse number 24. It says, until now you have asked nothing in my name. Ask, you will receive, that your joy may be what? Full. So prayer brings us joy. The stronger your prayer life, the happier you are. The more joyous you are, because when you give things in prayer to the Lord and you see the Lord answer prayer, boy, that brings joy. One of the greatest joys I have was in my prayer list, and when I begin to check it off, and I see all those check marks in my prayer journal. Wow, that excites me. It brings me joy. God, you answered that prayer. Exciting. You've been to check those things off. That's exciting. Especially when you pray for something for years and that check goes, boy, you really get excited. When you pray for somebody.
I'm not sure the application of this, but when the apostles tried to cast out demons or something and they couldn't do it
because of prayer.
You need more. Can you kind of explain that a little bit?
I think, well, Jesus knew the disciples many times lacked prayer. They had a hard time believing in him. And when they saw that, they had their doubts there, right? But this was such a serious thing. I think what's happening, they didn't take prayer into consideration in that event. And I think they probably prayed, but maybe it was a casual prayer. Well, let's just pray for them and see what happens. It wasn't a real sincere belief that when they prayed that this could change into a miracle. And that's why Jesus said this thing, that's a serious matter. This guy was demon possessed. That takes special prayer. When you know somebody that's demon possessed, that's something you don't take lightly. That means Satan has total control of that person, and serious things can happen. Okay?
This week.
Huh?
We saw that this past week.
Yeah, serious things can happen. And so there are times of prayer. Jesus is saying to those disciples, maybe he should have waited for Jesus to come before they did that. They probably took this all on their own, thinking, we can handle this. And then they didn't do it. It didn't happen. Jesus comes on the scene and says, you should have taken this more seriously to prayer. Maybe it was just a flippant thing. So probably that. But prayer gives us joy. Notice here in our text, 1 John chapter 1, verses 3 and 4, it's always talking about what? Fellowship. Poor Mike, you're getting a cold, huh?
I've had it.
You've had it. You didn't. When you drove in my drive the other day, I could tell that you weren't feeling good. Yeah. So, 1 John chapter 1, verses 3 and 4, the presence and fellowship of believers brings us joy. Amen? Because verse 3 and 4 is talking about fellowship with the Father and with each other. So coming together ought to bring us what? Boy, woe unto our fellowship when we get together and people leave mad or upset or not happy. That's not good. Being together ought to bring us joy. So that's very important, that your fellowship with believers brings joy. That's like that old saying, all it takes is one apple to spoil the whole barrel. And sometimes, or the apple, yeah. Sometimes fellowship, I've been in some fellowships with believers, and I'm saying, oh boy, that didn't go over so well, because someone said something, and it just destroyed the whole fellowship. So we have to be careful when we get together, what we say, how we say it. Because as Proverbs says, there's that little birdie that hears that stuff and then flies over, and all of a sudden whispers it to this one, to that one. The first thing you know, you got a mess on your hands. Yep. So you got to be careful, okay? But I praise the Lord every time we get together that we have good fellowship and everybody leaves happy, and that's exciting. I can honestly say I am so proud of this church. I think this is the first. I was thinking the other day, I said, Lord, when I first started ministry, I just should have planted a church from scratch. Because when you take over churches, you really take over problems. And I can say for the first time by Christian walk, I was meditating yesterday, not yesterday, the day before. I said, Lord, thank you. I think I'm experiencing for the first time in my 35 years a group that loves each other, that cares for each other, that's in unity, and you can see it. And I'm saying, wow, what a group to pastor and to preach to.
I love you, Jerry. Thank you.
And I've sensed that with people coming in and visiting us. They say the same thing. And I'm saying, man, praise, it's God doing the work, amen? And so that's great. I'm enjoying this. This is good. First Peter says a pastor can pastor. It can be a headache for him, or it can be a happiness for him. And
this is like a new car, Pastor. You got a 5-year, 100,000-mile warranty before it hits.
Yeah, before it hits the fan. Oh, that's funny.
3 more good years.
Yeah, there you go. So the presence and fellowship of believers brings us joy, Also, look at Luke 15:5. Luke chapter 15. And notice verse 5. Talking about the lost sheep, remember that? And when he had found it, he lays it on his shoulders, what? rejoicing.